Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode, I'll be discussing how Enzo Maresca has been sacked by Chelsea and what they're going to do to replace him. But before that, as always, please like, comment and subscribe. It's very much appreciated and it goes a long way to help me build a small community on my channel, okay? We've recently just hit 279 subscribers. We're literally so close to getting 300 subscribers. So if we can do that, I'd be absolutely over the moon. I'd also a massive thank you for the recent support on our most recent episodes and all the likes and comments on social media as well. Definitely to go unnoticed. And yeah, let's get straight into the episode, shall we? Enzo Maresca has been sacked by Chelsea after drawing with 2-2 against Bournemouth. For me, I don't know how to feel about this one because I feel like almost as if the writing has been on the wall for Enzo Maresca since last season. A lot of Chelsea fans have been giving him stick since last season because of, the signings that he's made, some of the players that he's not been able to fit into the team, the overall style of play how Chelsea have been playing in last season and this season as well. It's just not been good enough by anybody's standards for the players they have, for the money they've spent on those players, and the overall squad depth they've got in there. It's just not suiting the overall play and how the Chelsea fans expect. Their team should be playing how they used to be playing under the likes of Thomas Tuchel, Conte, Jose Mourinho, that sort of stuff. Chelsea have only won 2 games out of the last 5. The last win was against Cardiff in the EFL Cup, so from that point of view, it's just not good enough. And they also beat Everton 2-0 at home. So from that point of view, they have had good results and they are currently 5th in the Premier League. So it isn't terrible. The overview standpoint in Chelsea's league, if you like, it isn't terrible by anybody's standards because they're still fighting for top 4. But when you think about the money they've spent and the players they have, the squad depth they have, you probably expect them to be almost potentially be in a title race with all things considered, okay? Because that's what you was talking about Chelsea's be at the start of the season. There was a lot of shouts for Chelsea being like underdogs for that, Premier League title, if you like, almost like what Aston Villa are doing, going under the radar slightly in that title race with the likes of Arsenal, Man City in there. So from that point of view, it's just a weird way to discuss Chelsea this season. They've had a few decent performances, they've had a few bad performances as well. Overall, they've been okay, but it's just not good enough. When you think about, some of the players they've got in the likes of, Cole Palmer, he's been totally off it this season. He's not performed like great as he hasn't been cold this season whatsoever, has he, Cole Palmer? You know what I mean? In that, last season, for me, he was fantastic on that right hand side, but now that he's trying to be pushed into that sort of, central positions in those number 8, number 10 positions, if you like, I feel like he just doesn't suit that, forward area just because when he's more central, okay, teams just mark him out the game. The opposition put 2 or 3 bodies around Cole Palmer, and that's basically him out of the game for the 90 minutes. He can't find the open space in the attacking areas to, provide the assists and the goals like he was last season and the season before that when he went on and when he had an amazing run in the Premier League. So from that point of view, for me, I feel like Cole Palmer isn't more. I don't think Cole Palmer is a number 10. I feel like he has to get back on that right hand side of the pitch, where he provided like absolutely amazing output for Chelsea a few seasons ago, and then you've got other players in there like Caicedo, for example. For me, he's the best CDM in the league. He's been the shining light for Chelsea this season. He's been absolutely tearing it up. But for me, that midfield, it's been chopping and changing in recent weeks and pretty much the whole season, in the likes of Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. Those two are the mainstays in that midfield. But then you've had Cole Palmer in and out. You've had Reece James in there as well at times. For me, even though Reece James has done good as a, centre midfielder, if you like, I don't see him as a centre midfielder. I feel like he's always been a right back. So why not play him in his best position at right back? Don't get me wrong, he's very good attacking wise. He's also decent at defending. He could get a little bit better at defending. Some might say, just my personal opinion. There's been a few times where he's been caught out, so I don't know. For me, it's just that defence as well. The defence and goalkeeper position for me, like their attack is all right. It's just the defensive areas, okay. For me, Chelsea need a more experienced centre back to play alongside someone like Josh Akamumpong, Yaro Yotto. For me, Axel Dezabi, even though he's not playing, Tosin as well. All these types of players For me, they're like B-list centre backs. They need like an A-list centre back to sort of give them some leadership and provide that experience, so they can become more of a well-rounded balance in that sort of a defensive, four if you like. Because Marco Corella is an absolutely fantastic left back on that left hand side, bombing up and down the pitch is absolutely amazing. Again, he does get caught out sometimes on that left hand side because he's so high up the pitch. Reece James on that right hand side. Who else is in there? Marlo Gusto as well. For me, he's a good right back. I do like him, even though Reece James is more of a better option in there, if you like. And also for me, the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. Even though he has done better this season, overall, he's not the man to be leading your line for Chelsea. When you need a man to get you in the top four positions, when you need a man to save you those shots to sort of be in a title race, Robert Sanchez is never going to be that goalkeeper, unfortunately enough to say. He's just not good enough. His reflexes, his saving ability, his timing to make those saves. I just don't. I don't rate him highly enough. Even like Trevor Chalobah, even though someone like him is absolutely amazing, right? Trevor Chalobah, I highly rate him. Again, he's more of a B-side centre back where you need someone a little bit more experienced with who has that leadership, like a Thiago Silva, like a David Luiz, like it went back in the day at least when he was good at Chelsea. So someone like that, just to show you how it's done. John Terry, even, how could I forget about John Terry? And then you've got to think about the forwards as well. For me, the best forward this season, the shining light has probably been Esteval. That 18-year-old wonder kid, Brazilian wonder kid, is absolutely amazing. He's done some good stuff, but other than that, who could he say has been good? Garnacho's had spells where he's been very good. He's scored his goals. He's got some assists, but again, overall play is very frustrating, isn't he? He takes on one or two players and then he cuts back and then passes it to one of the midfielders or the centre back or the left back or whatever. For me, there's a few times where he looks forward, makes a run, and he doesn't do anything with it. He just stops and he reverts back. I don't really like that in your winger. And then for me, it's the strikers as well. In Yao Pedro, in Liam Delap. Yes, Liam Delap, I'm pretty sure he's injured at the moment, so it's a little bit unfortunate to say about him. But Yao Pedro, for example, he's not really done enough for me. So even though, you know, overall Enzo Maresca has been bad, I don't think the signings have sort of helped him out this season either. It's unlucky to say that because most of the people that he joined, most of the players that he signed in the summer transfer window haven't really been. Most of the players that he signed in the summer transfer window has not been good enough either. So you could argue the players have sort of let him down. You could argue that his overall management hasn't been great either. And I remember one of my first ever videos I've done. I said like, is Enzo Maresca on the chopping block? Is he one of the next managers to be sacked? And that was like a good 4 or 5 months ago now. So the writing has been on the wall for quite a while. The odds-on favourite manager to take over Chelsea is Liam Roussenet at Strasbourg in Ligue 1 in the French division. For me, I do highly rate this manager. Obviously, he's a very young manager still. He's only been at Strasbourg for 1 or 2 seasons, but he has played some very attacking football. And he's got some very good young players at his disposal at Strasbourg, hasn't he? So he has impressed in the league. Loads of top 10, loads of top 6 finishes for Strasbourg. And for me, you've got to think to yourself, there is that little sort of connection between Chelsea and Strasbourg. So, you've got to think to yourself, maybe Liam Roussenet might get the call up. He is a very good young attacking manager. Again, you know what I mean. Enzo Maresca's own was sort of that. When they got him a few seasons ago from Leicester City. Of course, he only had 1 season in the Championship at Leicester City. I'm pretty sure. Obviously, getting them promoted. So you got to think to yourself, Liam Roussenet, you sort of going down the same route. Do you want to do that, or do you want a bit of more of an experienced manager in there? Don't get me wrong. I think like Roussenet has had a few more years in management compared to Enzo Maresca. But do you want to take a chance on a younger manager, or do you want someone a little bit more experienced? I'm not too sure. The next candidate on the list are Bournemouth's Areola. For me, he's definitely one that I can, take the jump up, if you like, in management, and I feel like he could do a decent job. So potentially, again, I don't know if he's going to leave Bournemouth halfway through a season. I'm not too sure, but maybe it might be good to almost leave a sinking ship in Bournemouth, because if Antonio Semenyo leaves, I don't see them doing as well as they were in the last 2 seasons, because he's basically a main goal threat. Other than that, they've got like, there's obviously, Marco Silva potentially get a jump up there as well. I don't feel like he would. not to Chelsea at least anyway. You've got Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace, who's a fantastic manager, and he's almost out of contract in the summer. So you've got to think to yourself, maybe they might take a punt on Oliver Glasner. Again, I don't know if their overall style and system suits Chelsea, the three at the back, maybe, I don't know. Enzo Maresca's done it a few times. It's not really worked out for me. I do like him at the four at the back. Xavi is a 6-1 odds. I'm not too sure about that. I don't really rate Xavi, the ex-Barcelona manager. Obviously, let me know in the comments down below who you think will take over as the new boss of Chelsea. Anyways, how would you feel about Enzo Maresca's time at Chelsea? Was it the right time to sack him? Does he deserve to be sacked? Have Chelsea disappointed you this season? With the amount of money they've spent, should they be higher in the league? Should they be, you know, challenging for those titles and stuff? Those Premier League titles, the FA Cup, the Champions League. Who are the overall players that have been disappointing? Who have been the good players as well for Chelsea this season? Who have been the shining lights in a disappointing time for Chelsea? And yeah, before that, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. It goes a long way helping me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 279 subscribers. I just want to say a massive thank you for the recent support on our most recent episodes. And yeah, all the likes and the comments on social media as well definitely doesn't go unnoticed. And yeah, I really do hope you have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.